It's another Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, the home of the podcast since 2020, where back in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, some friends here at Grove Studios said, we want you to do a podcast in our studios. I'm like, does the world need another music podcast, really? And they said, no, come on, just do it. You'll love it. All right, fine. So I came in, was a guest on their podcast, and then they said, do your own. And I invited my friend Chris DuPont, who was putting out a new record out, and I suddenly realized that there was a hole in my heart from having done so many interviews in the world of radio that this was filling it. So one of my three guests today has been in the podcast studio 2 years ago. Katie Pederson is back, and she's brought her friends, Grace Theisen and Jillian Linklater, with her. This is the Rebel Eves in studio at Acoustic Alternatives. What the heck is the name of my podcast? I think I remember. This is a podcast that has been previously sponsored. I think 12 of these 66 episodes have been sponsors. Right now, there's no sponsors. If you like what you're seeing and you want to support me, there is a Patreon page for the entirety of all of the things that are Acoustic Alternatives that I make zero money doing. The trains are optional, noises that come when you get in the big studio. But we are in the big studio. If you've watched the podcast before, you know that there's more than one studio. I've mentioned this room before. So again, welcoming to the podcast studio, the Rebel Eves. And again, Jillian Linklater, Katie Pederson, Grace Theisen are here. And we're going to do, because there are three distinctly different lives in this room, we're going to interview each of you individually and then talk about the band as well. But we're also going to have you play some music. And when you talk, because I've got it set for singing, step up to the microphones. But starting with a song, who wants to introduce the song?
Well, the song kind of introduces itself.
Oh.
But this song is called The Rebel Eves.
Let's take it back to the garden, where all the blame was put on me. Since the day that it all started, I've been biting apples, spitting seeds. Try to take my body, my power, my choice, my soul, but you will never take my voice. Can you hear me now?
Did anyone care to ask Mary if she wanted any part of this? It's the only way to make history, through martyrdom or fruitfulness. Try to take my body, my power, my choice, my soul, but you will never take my
Can
voice.
you hear me now? Never take my
Can
voice.
you hear me now?
Never take my
Can you
voice.
hear me now?
Never take my
Can you
voice.
hear me now?
Oh, you can try, but you'll never take my voice.
Woman of your dreams, meet me at the well. Wanna buy my love, cause I'm selling it now. Yeah. Call no pleasure, ain't no sin. I'm still taking blame for the fall of man. Try to take my body, my power, my choice, my soul, but you will never take my
Can you hear me now?
Don't take my
Can you hear me now?
Don't take my
Can you hear me now?
take my
Can you hear me now?
Try to take my body, my power, my choice, my soul, but you will never take my voice.
Oh, you'll never take my voice. Never take it.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, call me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, call me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, call me. Reveille. Come on, come on, come on, come on, call me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, call me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, call me. Reveille. Can you hear me now?
Call me
Hell yeah. Rebel Eves on the Acoustic Alternatives podcast from Grove Studios, and the song, which is it's like the Monkees have their own song, right? The Rebel Eves have their own, Here We Come, we're the Rebel Eves. Not quite that. Fantastic. I have heard that one. There's a video for that one. That one exists in the world. We will eventually get to when are these songs going to be available for people, but there are people in the room. And we'll start with Jillian, because she's right here to my right, and the first person that is 2015 or so, I think I might have reached out to you. You might have reached out to me. I was still working at the radio station in Ann Arbor, and you were doing some shows in the area, and I played some of your music on the air because you were doing a show at the Arc. So we have crossed paths, but I've spent like zero time with you other than there was a show in Ferndale that you guys did. Songwriter and Ron. I said, hello, have we actually ever met? That I'm not sure about. But that's about how long I've been aware of your existence, and I've been, This was an exciting project for me because of my longstanding fandom of Katie's music. I'm like, oh, you got something new? Who's in it? Oh, my goodness. That's really cool. 2021, I know you played 20 Front Street and the Arc, 20 Front Street, probably the basic places that you played most of your career in Michigan. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say. And 20 Front Street's right in my hometown, so it was awesome to have that venue there. It's one of my favorites. Let's talk
a little bit about you and growing up. Where did you grow up specifically?
Lake Orion, Michigan.
Oh,
yep.
That's such a bad place. It's beautiful there.
Yeah. Where living is a vacation.
Yeah, pretty much. It probably used to be that kind of.
It was a vacation town. And that's like the actual slogan of the city. So we always laugh about it.
It's a vacation town. Come live here. That's the slogan. No, not quite that. What kind of stuff did you, as a high school student, find yourself drawn to? I think we're a little bit more ourselves in high school. If I went back to like 5-year-old.
So? That's an interesting. Okay. What was I drawn to in high school? I played lots of sports. That's when I started playing guitar. I taught myself how to play guitar in like sophomore year of high school. And so I was starting to write songs then, and that was like the height of my, like Taylor Swift had just come out with her Teardrops on My Guitar. And so I started writing songs. So that was definitely my like music start was high school.
I'm trying to remember what other guest I've had in the studio, but it came to me that I didn't realize that she'd been around long enough that she's already influenced people that are making music.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And she was like our age, you know, so she's like the 16-year-old girl. And I'm like, oh, I can write songs about my life too.
Because she's still so current. It's not like you think of somebody who's been around 20 years, has been making music 20 years long enough to influence people. I guess so. And it absolutely is the case. So, well, that's interesting. You were a runner, if I remember from some research I did.
Yeah. I ran track. I did high jump and hurdles. That was my thing. In high school and on into college. Big sports gal.
Do you still find yourself going for runs but not jumping over things?
Not really.
No?
I did one half marathon with my parents because they're big runners. But, I do like jumping just in general, Just jumping. It's fun.
House of Pain told us to do it. Crisscross told us to do it. There's a lot of songs that said jump in it. Jump.
Grace and I didn't know any of this about you.
We need that jumping
You didn't
song.
know this?
No, never.
LOL. Well,
we don't talk about high school a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we should have.
Yeah.
So then from high school, you went to Belmont University. Is that the next stop on the train,
Yep.
so to speak? And why did you choose Belmont? Or did it choose you?
Yeah, well, honestly, it kind of feels like it chose me. I wanted to be a pediatrician, like in the medical fields and all throughout when I was young. And then I won this Taylor Swift karaoke competition. Taylor Swift again.
What were you singing?
It was supposed to be karaoke, but I remember bringing my guitar to like the parking lot where they had the thing. And I think I sang Love Story.
Okay.
That was like one of my favorites
I like
at
that
the time.
song.
Yeah. But anyway, I won a trip to Nashville, and this woman was taking us around Nashville, and she was like, and this is Belmont University right on the end of Music Row. And, the music business is a thing. She gave me my first music business book and was like, people write songs for a living. I said, really? Okay. And I toured Belmont, and it's the only school I applied to and got into the songwriting program. And then my whole career trajectory changed forever.
Pediatrician out the door, musician forever.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself like still wanting to do the pediatrician thing anyway? Like just the aspects of it?
Well, Honestly, I don't know if it's necessarily pediatrician. Sometimes I'm like, did I choose the right path?
Well, we know financially,
On
no.
the hard days.
No, anybody who watches, anybody who watches or listens to this knows that I understand the plight, the financial plight of the 99% of the musicians I have come through here.
Yeah.
It is not a great way to make a living.
No.
It's a fun way to make a living, but it is a decision you have to just go with it. And we as fans, I don't know that all of us look at it this way, but I know I do. I appreciate the sacrifice that you make because you bring me joy as musicians. You give me something to look forward to, something to turn to when I have, sorrow or joy or whatever. I mean, that's to me, that's what music does. But we often forget that the people making the music have made sacrifices so that we can enjoy that. So thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah.
My pleasure. So how's your search for perfection going? I know that was one of your things at one point.
My search for perfection, never find it. Ever.
It was brought up in an interview. I'm like, ooh, that's a pretty good search.
Yeah.
You were going to go for perfection.
Oh, gosh. I actually have a song about that where it's just like I'm constantly looking for the next thing to kind of, I haven't put it as perfection, but I like to fix everything, like to be the thing that solves all of my life's problems. And, I haven't found it yet. I'll probably look for it somewhere else next.
We've been putting out music since about 2015, some EPs. Is there a full length in there as well?
No, just EPs.
Just EPs?
Yeah, actually, we're working on a record, and Grace and I were both like, this will be our first full length album.
Ooh.
Katie has put out full length, so that's exciting.
Finally. I mean, that's a long journey to get to the full lengthness. Have you resisted full lengths because you don't feel like you have enough songs that are cohesive to make a collection, or you just prefer like, oh, I got 5 songs, let's get them out?
Great question. Honestly, I think it's been like budget. It's just like,
That's a thing.
I think it's just, less songs, less money. And also I kind of a lot of my career has been like dancing back and forth between, I just am a songwriter. Oh, I'm an artist. And so there's been periods of time where I just focused on being a songwriter and writing for other people and writing for film and television that I think sometimes like I just would come back and do the EP that felt a little more manageable, and then balancing it with the other things.
What about this side moniker you have with, is it J. Ella?
J. Ellie. Oh,
J.
yeah.
Ellie, that's it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've only written a couple of songs in that little like side alter ego, but
tell people about that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a brat rap song. Like it's totally not how I present whatsoever, but
Brat rap?
yeah.
The Strawberry June part of this? Like, I was bringing into
It's literally like, does it make you happy every single time you feel it? Like, it's like,
Sassy.
it's a real like, yeah. So,
That's amazing.
which I found that really fun to like put on a different hat and like put on a different personality. And I have a few more actually floating around in my brain that I'm like, this could totally be J. Ellie. And yeah, so we'll have to see if she comes back out.
That's fine.
I think yes.
I think that's an absolute yes.
Walking Stories, is that the most successful thing you've released so far?
I would say so, yeah.
How did that happen? I'm like, just to have something that gets people's attention is kind of nice, but how did it get the attention? What was the...
Yeah, I was working with a manager at the time and it was like right at the beginning of Spotify, curated playlists. And so, and just like anything, he had a friend that was curating my favorite coffee shop or coffee house on Spotify, which was a big like acoustic playlist. And I think still is. But he pitched him the song and he loved it and put it on there. And that playlist like single-handedly was what spread it. Which was really amazing.
I think Liz Longley has a similar story with When You've Got Trouble. It's a song of hers that a lot of people know because of that channel, and kind of opened the door to lots of people discovering who she was. One of my other favorites, who lives, I believe, somewhere near you. Now, when you went to Belmont, you relocated to Nashville, right?
Yes.
That's home.
Not anymore currently.
Oh, where's home?
So I lived in Nashville about 11 years, and then I converted a van with my grandfather and traveled for a year and a half and kind of landed in Seattle and needed a little bit of a rest from the road. And so I've been living there the last year and a half. Yeah.
So this is what we call a distance band.
Yeah, this is a long distance band.
I've had a couple of those in here before. It's a tough way to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Some other people have recorded your songs, at least one, Jason Gray, right? tell me about your songs that have been on other people's albums. Anything beyond him?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple like pop artists, one Carolyn Cole that's recorded a couple of my songs that we've co-written together, a couple other CCM bands, because I was really well connected with a label down there that hooked me up with a lot of their artists, and some like smaller, country artists as well, but Jason was probably the biggest artist to cut one of my songs.
So Jilian Linklater as a solo artist, indie country Christian, or any of those? Or all of those?
Oh gosh, I would say it's more just like folk singer songwriter. Like at the end of the day, like it's just me and my acoustic guitar is how I do most of my shows these days. Just kind of like James Taylor kind of person. It was just me and my guitar.
Who doesn't love that? I mean, I do. The show is called Acoustic Alternatives, after all. All right, so the Rebel Eves are the trio in the studio today. We are at Grove Studios. They are, as of yet, to release an album. We'll talk about that. But how about another song? Who wants to introduce the next song?
Yeah.
Not me, because I don't know what you're doing.
Next. Do we want to do... Want to do Don Juan?
Yeah. Oh, Don Juan. Yeah, let's do Don Juan.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds great.
You can introduce
Yeah. This kind of is a good segue. This is a song that I wrote while writing songs in Nashville for more of a country lean. We wrote it thinking like Miranda Lambert should cut this song, and so that was, I mean, like it had to be at least 8 years ago now. It's been a while. And then when this band started, this was a favorite of some of my family members, and they were like, Jillian, you got to play him Don Juan. And I was like, oh, come on, that old thing. And I played it for him, and they like immediately started singing harmonies on it. And now it's one of our favorite points in our set. We call it our tequila drinking song. It's called
Miranda
Long Gone Don Juan.
Lambert
Go ahead.
missed out.
Yeah.
She's going to want it now.
1, 2, 3.
You caught me in the aftermath of a love gone bad. Wasn't like me to fall for a player like that. Oh, but the way he wore that gypsy smile and held his 69 J45, lost a little bit of my mind that moonshine night.
Ooh, was the best he ever had. Told the same to every girl after that. 'Cause he's a drifter, shapeshifter, sweep you off your feet kind of kisser. Gold tongue on the run, leave you in the morning with a smoking gun. He's passing through 90 proof, the kind of liquor you just shouldn't shoot. He'll say, hey baby, my name is John, and then he's long gone, Don Juan.
Woodward's hearts were breaking all over this town. Katie was crying and Mary Jo was hunting him down. Dee Dee had her daddy cleaning off his gun. Mrs. Jones said, Father, what have I done? Little Lucy thought she had finally found the one.
Said I was the best he ever had. Casanova never called me after that. 'Cause he's a drifter, shapeshifter, sweep you off your feet kind of kisser. Gold tongue on the run, leave you in the morning with a smoking gun. He's passing through 90 proof, the kind of liquor you just shouldn't shoot. He'll say, hey baby, my name is John, and then he's long gone, Don Juan. is a drifter, shapeshifter. Sweep you off your feet, kinda kisser. Gold tongue on the run, leave you in the morning with a smoking gun. He's passing through 90 proof. I heard he landed in the ICU. And sometimes you get what's coming to you. And now he's long gone, done Juan. Ooh, long gone, done Juan.
Love it. It's called Don Juan. It is from the Rebel Eves, and we're on Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios. Grove Studios is a place that if you're a musician, if you're a DJ, if you're a podcaster, they've got a space for you 24/7. It's a keypad operation. Get out of the garage and get into the studio is their motto. So if you're looking to not annoy your neighbors with the noise you're making, practicing, or making your DJ noises really loud, or mastering your album, which we can do in the room behind you, actually. This is a place in Ypsilanti, Michigan, right between Ann Arbor and Detroit. If you're watching this from elsewhere, maybe you're planning a tour coming through, like, we need a place to practice before we play at the Arc. Here. I know a lot of people have done that. I know some of my previous guests have been here before, so I want to thank them for being such great hosts and encouraging me to do this in the first place, because I am loving having so much fun doing this. Rebel Eves are here. That makes me happy. We just got to meet Jilian Linklater and talk to her a bit about her career. Another time, perhaps we will do a more in-depth look at you and have a solo thing with you when you're in the area. But this time we're going to skip over Katie and go. We're skipping over you.
Me. Oh, okay.
Sorry, for now, just because this is the way you're lined
did
up.
you say skip over or step over?
No.
Here I am.
We're going to speak with Grace Theisen right now. Grace, welcome to Grove Studios.
Thank
and
you.
It's good to have you in.
It's good to be here.
I know that the other side of the state is home for you, correct?
Yes, Kalamazoo.
It's where you're from and where you went back to. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You spent some time in Nashville at some point, and
I did, yes. I moved down there in 2015. I was running a nonprofit at the time called Songs Against Slavery. So I was sort of on the other end of the music business, running benefit concerts and booking artists and venues. So I'm pretty new as of like 3 years to the performing side of it this heavily. But that's how Jillian and I met, was down there.
unlike these experienced ladies, you're just getting your start.
For real, though. Yeah, 1,000%. I feel like what I bring to the band is a lot of the business stuff because of that background. But the music stuff, I'm like, I don't know keys. I don't know. I'm like, guys, help out.
She doesn't give herself enough credit. Yeah, truly.
I should also never answer questions like, who are our inspirations and stuff. Because musical history is on them.
It's on them. Well, congratulations to you, however, despite how short you've been doing this, you have gotten a fair amount of attention. Like, I've noticed your name come up a lot in the last few years.
Thank you.
Which is, I mean, that's not that easy to do. It's just debut, and then suddenly people are talking about you, writing about you.
Yeah.
You're showing up, and how did that happen? Just because you're talented? I mean, I know you are.
No, I mean, yes and no. I think a lot of it was also like I've almost for 10 years, like I said, was on the other side of this, booking artists, booking venues. So I knew a lot of the music business. And I think when I moved back to Michigan, my mindset was like, I don't really know what I'm doing as an artist, but I do know how to like run a business. And one of the things that I learned with my nonprofit is like, we always surrounded ourselves with people who are better than us and smarter than us. And so with a band, I was like, I want to be the worst player in my band, legitimately, because that's how I think you rise up to the next level. And so moving back, I sort of had this mindset of like, how I'm going to surround myself with the people who are really good at this and network with them. And just like, not because I wanted to, I didn't even really think I had in my mind, like, advancing my career. That's just like what I knew how to do in running a business. And so I think that was a huge help and part of it. Also, I just think the Michigan music scene, from what I've seen, has been incredibly supportive and incredibly encouraging. And, you know, like the Michigan Music Alliance has the whole, what is it? Something over competition. Collaboration over competition.
Yes.
And I do feel that.
I'm on the board. I should know that.
Yeah. Okay. So, shout out. But I do think that has felt like that. Coming back, because Nashville felt really, as you know, like it feels very can feel, what's the word I'm looking for, competitive. Yeah. And so I think I saw that, and I felt like Michigan was a really good soft space for me to try all this out, because I didn't know what type of music I wanted to do, or, you know,
over the last 3 years, it's changed a lot. And so I felt like it was a less competitive environment to sort of get my feet wet.
It's a weird analogy, but when you were talking about like playing with people that were better than you, I mean, I'm not young anymore, but when I was younger, I used to play volleyball, and I would try and play with people who were better than I was to try and get better.
Yeah.
And until I got context, I wasn't confident at the net because you like, I don't want to get in the face. But the same theory applies, or hypothesis technically, is that you try to rise above. So smart.
1,000%. And I think that is like, I've learned so much from both of them in a lot of this and a lot of the music stuff. And I think that's what makes us such an awesome band, is we all bring different strengths to the table. So
has music always been like one of your loves? What were you, when did you decide that this was the thing?
It's so funny. I really hate performing. Like I find this career absolutely terrifying.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm always sweating on stage. Like I really, being up here with them feels good. When I'm on my own with my band, I'm still, before every show, I'm like panicking, to which I'm like, why did I choose this career? Like this is absolutely terrifying. So I feel like I've always loved music. I've never loved performing.
Okay.
Like I never wanted to do it. I was sort of like voluntold with worship and all the things where you're just like, yeah, I have to do this. But no, I never saw myself as a career doing this.
Well, we learned from Jillian that maybe it was Taylor that made her pick up a guitar. Maybe. What about you? What about you?
Yeah. I think I picked up a guitar really young. My family had, our God family had 5 kids, and we had 5 kids.
Okay.
And they had 4 daughters, and there's 3 in my family. And so we all just harmonized together. My godfather taught us how to play guitar. We were singing like Patty Griffin. Every like family gathering, Christmas was around music. Someone had a guitar. We were like 4-part harmony. So it's always been a part of my life. Just this like performing part of it was not really something that I saw myself doing until I ran Songs Against Slavery. And then I saw how impactful music can be in making change. And I was just like, wow, I want to be on that side of it for a change. Like I had done so much on the back end of it. And I saw the way that, you can change a room with a song. You can change an environment with a song. We were talking about that the other day. And I think I wanted to do that for myself first and foremost, because I was so scared of it as a career. Like I was so comfortable in the background. And I kind of have this thing in life where I keep choosing careers that scare the shit out of me for better, Why not? Yeah, because I want to keep growing as a human. And so I think my personality feels like every 10 years I sort of change careers so far. So I'm like, I'll give this another like 7 years and then I gotta change careers. But no, I think until it stops scaring me, I think it's what I kind of need to be doing, because it does help me face fears and step into like an identity that, I don't know, I was scared to step into for a lot of my life.
Well, sidebar, Patty Griffin's Living with Ghosts, one of the best albums of the genre. I mean, that's a perfect album. So if that was part of your influences, nice.
Yeah.
Take that with you. Now, when I hear you, I hear kind of a blues rocker as your solo self.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where you file yourself? If there was a section in the record store to put you and your solo music in?
Yeah, I think so. My cousin was in a blues band growing up, like a pretty popular blues band. He toured with ZZ Top as his guitar player for a while. And so I was like saturated in blues music. And I've just always felt it's so, I don't know, it just always made my heart come alive like no other genre. And I just find the honesty in the songs very appealing. The grit, the like, sometimes slamming on guitars, but sometimes just being, like Bonnie Raitt, incredibly skilled. And so I don't know, there's something about that genre that fits my style of voice that makes me feel like I can come to life. But I am learning a lot, I think, being in this band of like doing the singer-songwriter slow, like more intimate. I was telling them like I sing slow, vulnerable songs now, and I'm sweating even more. So I think
you can take your jacket off.
Yeah,
it's okay. I'm
sweating.
I'm sweating now because it's all the lights in here.
Yeah,
I'm not used to that.
So yeah, but I would say overall, I think blues is where I want to land. I really like it.
Have you pursued like booking blues venues and blues gigs and playing with other blues artists like Thornetta Davis and people like that?
Yeah. No, that's actually a great idea.
Like start trying to get in there by like opening for them.
I still feel like I need to be a lot more skilled on guitar before I do that. So I feel like that's my goal is like, learning more, but that's a great idea.
Glad to help.
Thank you.
Pre-med in college?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was pre-med. I thought I was going to be a doctor.
That's wild.
Super crazy.
I also wanted to be a pediatrician when I grew up, so that's so funny.
Maybe that's our next
There's a note in here about
medical.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah, it didn't last more than a year.
Oh, okay.
It
Saw
was
blood and you
just-
got out?
Yeah, well,
No,
not really, but
just
more
kidding.
like bones, and I got out.
Okay. Something.
Yeah.
Why did you end your nonprofit? Did it just
I
take
learned
you?
about sex. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say, why did I end going to medical school?
No.
Why did I end my nonprofit?
Yes.
That's a great question.
Sometimes it just naturally ends.
Yeah, I think it was that. There was a lot going on for me behind the scenes the last few years. I had a second back surgery. I was on a lot of pain meds. I felt like, we were just going in a different direction, and I needed to figure out for myself. I needed to first focus on my health and then figure out, is this nonprofit something I want to keep running? My co-founder wanted to get married and have a family, and so she wanted to move back to Michigan, and I wasn't sure. So I think overall, music was the thing that sort of made me end it. I started playing music out more. I lived in Costa Rica, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think this is what I want to do. And I learned from running Songs Against Slavery, it's really hard to do a music career and have another full-time job. So I knew I couldn't split my time. I wouldn't do music again. I feel like whatever I did would just get chose over music. And so, we decided to close it down.
Turns out being a musician we're talking about running a business. It is a business. You
yeah.
you don't have to just be good at
Yeah.
writing songs and singing songs, playing guitar, piano, whatever you play.
Right.
You have to know how to market yourself and
Yeah.
how to put yourself out there. There's so much
Yeah.
business to the music business, especially now because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so little support from a record label
Yeah.
anymore. Especially in the genre you guys are doing. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of stars in this genre.
It feels
so.
like 5% of our job is actually the music and writing. The
Lot-
rest of it is
Driving.
yeah, of course. Yeah, doing all the other stuff.
A lot of time in the car.
Yeah.
Katie, you got to step up to the mic if you're going to talk. When you talk.
We spend a lot of time in the car.
I heard you, but the microphone didn't hear you. So the answer to this question might be not yet, but when did you start believing in yourself?
Oh, that's such a good question. I was living in Costa Rica, and I had moved there to be a social host for a yoga surf retreat. I knew nothing about either. I knew no one in Costa Rica.
Okay.
I just needed to honestly shake myself back awake. Again, going back to that fear thing, I needed to choose a job real fast that would kind of give me a lot of not anxiety, but just curiosity again. I feel like I had lost that in both chronic pain and also anti-trafficking work. And so I didn't even bring my guitar when I went down there. I didn't tell anyone I did music. And slowly my boss started coaxing me out of my shell of play a song for Shavasana and I started doing music again. And I felt there's something about moving to a country where nobody knows you, really moving to a town where nobody knows you, starting over, that gives you this confidence of I can make a home anywhere I go. I trust that about myself. And so then why can't I do a career like this? I can't say I would say I fully believe in myself, but I think maybe more than not enough to keep going, if that makes sense.
You're getting on stages. That's a belief in
1000%.
yourself.
Yeah. Right? And that feels like the biggest hurdle to me is just getting on the stage. Once I'm up there with my band or them, it feels natural. But yeah, it's just taking those little baby steps.
I saw you this summer in Grand Rapids at the Confluence event, and there's plenty of confidence there when you're up there. I can't tell if you're not confident. So
no, I do feel it with my band.
Yeah, because you have somebody.
I don't
want
to do it solo. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your fairly quick rise, I suppose.
You.
That's my perception is that you've best new artist already. That's a pretty cool thing to have on the resume. Yeah. Something to build. And I know this is not a small thing either for those of us in the Ann Arbor Ipsy music scene. You're going to be part of the Ebert and Friends show in December. So
I just got her email.
Not 100% sure when the video of this will be available. It might not be before the show's hit, but the audio will be. So if you are curious about how Grace might sound in a completely different setting, the Ebert and Friends show is an annual tradition at the Arc, and it features a wide variety of singers. You can meet Thornetta Davis if you haven't done so yet, and maybe ask her to open a show.
Yeah.
She's cool.
Whoa, that's incredible.
She's one of the best.
I just saw she was on it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm singing Santa Baby, and Erin said she hasn't found the right person in 16 years to sing it. And I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'm going for it.
Wow, okay. I mean, I don't know which version she's comparing you to, Madonna, Eartha Kitt, or whatever. Cool. I'm going to be there. I will see one of those shows, so I look forward to that. And I thank you for giving me a little snapshot of your career. Is this another good time for another song?
So this one needs a little bit of an introduction, if that's okay. But this song is called American Dream. And Grace and I wrote this with our friend Terry down in Nashville. And there was a study done through UNC Annenberg that we found out about through an organization called Amplify Her Voice. And they did a study to look at gender inclusion in the music industry and just, see what those stats were. And they found in 2022 that of all the popularized music that's on the radio, on Spotify, that's pushed, that we all listen to the most, only 12.8% of those songs are written by women. And so that's not to say that there are not more women songwriters out there who are working hard and doing our best. And so this song sort of came from that realization. This is American Dream.
For all the highs been taking lows. I'm in a 10-year town, but I can see through the smoke. Dismissed by men that are half my age, playing worse songs on a bigger stage. But our starting lines are not the same.
Is this American dream all it's made out to be? Working twice as hard to get half as far, just to be told we should change who we are. Well, no, this American dream isn't enough for me. Hey, hey.
Could fill a stadium with all the people that say you're too emotional, you need more confidence. Pouring out my heart, but that just don't sell. No one wants to hear women going through hell, but I'm gonna prove you wrong. I got a story to tell. Is this American dream all it's made out to be? Working twice as hard to get half as far, just to be told we should change who we are. Well, no, this American dream isn't enough for me. Hey, hey. Well, I'm not gonna stop putting out all the things I need to say. If the numbers don't follow, I'ma sing it anyway. If a tree falls in the woods, do you hear it? If it's not a number one, you still feel it. I'm not gonna stop putting out all the things I need to say. If the numbers don't follow, I'ma sing it anyway. Because my voice still matters. Let my resilience shatter this American dream that never was cut out for someone like me. Is this American dream all it's made out to be? Working twice as hard to get half as far, just to be told we should change who we are. Well, no,
me.
Okay, wow. I mean, if I may vote, that should be the lead single from the album. If I'm allowed to vote, that's my vote so far. I mean, there might be another song that you perform next that I might change my mind, and I reserve the right to do that. But holy crap, that's a great song and powerful.
Thank you.
Love it, love it. The Rebel Eves are my guests today on Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. And we've already met Jillian, and we've already met Grace, and we've met Katie before. If you look back on the previous podcast, it was about 2 years ago, her last and first visit here, but we've had visits at my radio stations, and we've known each other a while. And I'm not sure if I should call you Katie or Charlotte, because she was Charlotte in a movie I saw, and I was confused. I'm like, no, that's Katie.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Do they not know that you're in a movie?
I was an extra. It was like, it's a small indie film. It's very cool. It's called Duelers, which is how I got my start as a dueling pianist. And so a few friends of mine made a movie called Duelers. It's actually quite good.
I feel like you did tell us this.
Yeah, but I was just a little extra. I was a bachelorette in one scene.
And your name was Charlotte.
And my name was Charlotte.
And it was funny as hell.
That should be your alter ego.
bar name.
Yeah, there you go.
It's actually a really fantastic movie. It's no longer available to watch for free online like it was when it first came out, but I watched it twice, and I don't watch a lot of movies twice. I watched it once just out of curiosity because I knew Drew a little bit, and then as I was preparing to interview Drew about the movie, I'm like, I'm going to watch it again, and I thoroughly enjoyed it again. And I've recommended it a bunch of times, and it's always fun to see. I remember as I was watching it the first time, I saw you in there. I'm like, oh God, I hope she gets to sing and play. And it's just a little cameo in there, but that was fun. How did that come about? Just because you were friends with people?
Yeah. So Drew and Colleen are wonderful, and we used to work together at a handful of piano bars, and they just asked me to be a part of it, and I'm so glad they did. It was really fun. I saw a lot of friends' names in the credits, so it was cool.
That was pretty cool. All right. So if you want to find out more like in-depth stuff about Katie, I encourage you to go back and listen to the old one. But I noticed the theme as I was looking at your bandmates that you've all had careers that help people that is not music related. Like they're all like focused on making people better. Did you guys even realize that when you got together?
I don't think that we've ever put that together really in one phrase. Yeah.
Maybe that's something that is, a theme that makes a song at some point, like helping people and getting better. Although, I mean, the song you just performed is about lifting up women. So in a sense.
Yeah. I think that's one of our main goals as a band, actually, is to lift up women. We started it with one another to empower each other, and it's a lot scarier to get on stage by yourself, like Grace was talking about. And I've been in bands where I've played with a lot of different musicians, but I've never been in a band that has been like this. So it's been very cool to kind of come together and write like-minded songs to support the people that we want to connect with the most, I guess, through our music.
It's the 10th anniversary of Happy Mess, which is a great album title. Yeah. How do you feel about that being 10 years old already?
Oh man, I can't believe it. There's a lot of feelings around that. I think, like the biggest one being gratitude. I think I started recording that record because of my brother, actually. And he reached out to a producer on my behalf, Dave Douglas. And he was just so excited and wanted me to record. And so he reached out to him. We got connected. I recorded, and that was the beginning of the journey. So it's been a long decade. It's been a hard decade. It's been full of friends and people and shows and all the things. But a decade is a long time.
And some ups and downs, and we hear about those as we listen to your music, as we follow your story through song. When I saw you last, Limitless was not out yet, and Limitless was a painful journey to go through to get to the album. But from what I know about you personally, you're on the other side of that, and you're happy. High five. I like you being happy. I mean, it's selfish. Like when Sarah McLachlan got married, I was sad. Oh no, where's all the forlorn songs going to go? Like I'm happy that she's happy, but like all the stuff that makes me love her music is going to go away. And I felt that way about other people. Like, no, don't get married, Liz Longley. Like I want the sad songs. No, I love her as a human, so I want her to be happy.
That's so great.
But I want you to be happy. But Limitless, what a great record that was. Still is. And I was looking forward to it then, and it was one of my top 10 albums of the year when it came out. So I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, I assume you're all still working in your solo things. This is like a side gig. So is there more solo material coming soon at some point?
There is. So actually, because of that 10-year anniversary, it's so funny that you mentioned Patty Griffin. So I was playing a gig. I promise this connects. I was playing a gig recently where someone requested Patty Griffin, and I had listened to a little bit of her music. And actually, one of the songs that I listened to the most was when I was writing Limitless, and actually on that road trip that sort of inspired that album, I listened to Long Ride Home probably like 1,000 times. And so I ended up playing that for the request, and then kind of went back and I was like, I don't think I've listened to this album. And so I got in the car and was listening to the record, and it's 1,000 Kisses. And the first song is Rain. And I don't know what happened, but it was like this flood of emotions of like knowing this 10 years is coming up, and that album just hit me so deeply. And so I was looking into her a little bit more because I know of her work, and I know that she's, revered as a songwriter, but I found out that she put that album out like when she was nearly 40. And I think that, I'm going to be 33, next month. And we just talked about women in the industry for American Dream. And I think that some of the feelings of that 10 years have been kind of connected to that. But so anyway, I ended up recording a solo piano version of Rain that I sort of merged with a rewrite of one of the first songs that's on that Happy Mess EP, Dead of Winter. And that will be coming out in January. So I'm very excited.
I'm excited now too.
Yeah.
I love that whole album too, but Living with Ghost is still like the pinnacle for me. It's the start. And
absolutely.
There've been so many great songs, Long Ride Home. I mean, just like the story, and it kind of makes you want to cry, like that whole story.
Absolutely.
It's great stuff. Do you still lug a keyboard around, or do you try to book rooms where they have a piano?
Oh, a little of both, but we're working on getting pianos in the rooms because it just makes it so much easier. It saves car space. But it's been really nice to play. Anytime a place has a grand or like a baby or even an upright, it's so nice to play a real piano versus electric. So.
And we're standing next to one, but it's too complicated. If I had the right mixing capabilities, I would definitely have let you play in that piano over there. One other cool thing that I saw that happened to you since we last spoke, and I was like, what? You played with Ben Folds.
I did.
Come on. Tell me about that.
It was crazy. I'm still like on a cloud 9 from that. I work at a place in Nashville called Sid Gold's Request Room, which is basically like piano karaoke where I play the piano part, and then like Jill would request a song and then she'll sing while I play. And so Ben was working on promoting his upcoming album and upcoming tour. And I don't know how my boss Kira got connected with them, but she was like, well, if he wants to promote the Nashville show, then he could play like a private show at our place and we could do like karaoke with Ben. And so basically they had 10 Ben Folds songs. We could all put our name in a hat to be pulled, and so I got to sing the duet with him, the Regina Spektor duet, and it was one of the top 10 moments of my life.
I got to see the video.
Crazy.
Somebody posted it.
Yeah
That was cool.
awesome.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing your friends with you.
Yes, I'm so glad they're here.
How did the Rebel Eves form? Who wants to answer that?
I guess we all kind of can. Yeah.
Step up to the mic when you do.
Well, I guess it came out of our first writers round. I knew Jillian from Nashville, and then I met Katie through our former producer during COVID over Zoom. He sort of connected us, and I think we were supposed to write, and we ended up just like talking for a long time, like hours.
And then we did write a couple songs.
Yeah.
But we became fast friends very quickly over Zoom. And then I met Jill when we did our first writers round, and we were all kind of sitting in your parents' living room, harmonizing on each other's songs.
2021? Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so we were playing like as our individual artists, and we're like, well, we'll just throw some harmonies on each other's songs, and like the blend of our voices just felt really, really good. And so we made that into the Nashigan tour. So we did that still as a writers round tour. But the more we like played and sang together, we were like, what if we make this a thing? And we went up to my grandparents' cottage in on Higgins Lake in central Michigan. And we're like, we have no expectations. We'll just kind of, if this feels right, we'll just keep taking steps forward. And we arranged our first song and came up with a name and just felt like we should keep moving forward as a band. And yeah, now we're here.
And why did we name it not Nashigan, which would have made sense because there's Nashville, Michigan. I mean, that's a great name for the tour, but why did the band name not become Nashigan?
Well, I think we all come from similar backgrounds of different steps of deconstruction of faith. And I actually like to think of it as reconstruction, just sort of thinking about religion in a way that is empowering instead of exclusive, I guess. And so we have, over those writers' rounds, we were having multiple conversations about that sort of subject matter and decided to just sort of go with that. We're like, we're talking about it all the time. We're writing about it all the time. Why don't we just sort of create the band this way? So I don't know. Do you guys want to add to that?
Well, I think also too, like in our minds, Eve from the Bible is someone who gets a lot of blame. And I think in a culture, if you're constantly blaming women for the downfall of humanity, that's really dangerous, And so we sort of wanted to take something that this mindset we thought most of our life and flip it on its head. And I feel like really our band is just asking a lot of questions. And that's sort of like, because we're still asking a lot of questions, but we wanted it to kind of convey, to get people thinking in a different way. I think that's really the heart of our band, is just like asking hard questions, and hopefully people will think about these old time beliefs.
I hope they hear them. What are the ultimate goals of the band? A once-a-year thing, a twice-a-year thing, a permanent project that continues until, what's the goal? Did we talk about that?
Grace wants to change careers.
Yeah, until 7 years from now when Grace is done with this.
Yeah, I think we're really taking it 1 year at a time. We already have a bunch of shows planned for the summer. I think for me, it's as long as it feels good, and right now I think that's looking like maybe a couple tours a year for this next year, with this album coming out, and just seeing where it grows to. We're kind of having open hands about it, and constantly checking in with each other to see what feels good, and so far it's just grown. It feels like it's grown quickly and like progressed quickly, and we keep just stepping forward into the next door that opens. So yeah, I think we're just going to continue to do that.
Is there a projected release date?
Well, first single is going to come out February, like 20th or something like that. February, yeah. So first single, we have a date. Next single will be sometime in the summer. And then album, we haven't said a release date yet, but we're hoping not far from there.
Was I spot on when I said Zoom for songwriting, or do you just write songs separately and bring them to the group?
We Zoom write. Yeah.
How else can you do it? Is there times that when you're on the road together, you sit down and go, hey, let's try and write a song now, because it's a little bit more organic and easier? Like, I'm taking away from that time right now by having you here, but...
Actually, one of the newest songs that we wrote, what sort of happened organically, it was while we were rehearsing and we were all just kind of jamming out. And then we got this idea and we couldn't finish it right then, but we tabled it and then finished it over Zoom. So nice. That happens a lot, where we'll come up with ideas while we're together, or like, we'll just have conversations over Zoom and then throw it together when we're together. So, yeah.
Well, it's a fantastic project, and I'm glad that I have a chance to see you in person and to talk about it. Is there another song? And we can wind it up.
Yeah.
One more?
Yeah, this song is called Trying to Find Healing.
Me too.
And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you know what's right or wrong? When to hold strong or keep pushing on, or when it's time to simply let go and try to find healing.
And how do you start to quiet your fear? Stand in your power and not disappear. To trust your own voice and silence the noise and try to find healing.
Oh, 'cause I'm trying to find healing, to face my demons every day. I might be crying, but at least I'm feeling. I might mess it up, it's gonna be okay. I might let you down, but I won't disappoint myself. I'm trying to find healing.
Is anyone else tired of shouldering armor? 'Cause to be honest, I don't think I can take it any longer. I'm trading heavy for freedom and ease. I'm just trying to find healing. 'Cause I'm trying
To find healing, to face my demons every day. I might be crying, but at least I'm feeling. I might mess it up, it's gonna be okay. I might let you down, but I won't disappoint myself. I'm trying to find healing.
Leaves on Acoustic Alternatives. And remember when I said I reserve the right to change my mind? That might be the first single too.
Oh,
Can there be two
wow.
first singles? That's a really great song too.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your talents in this special session with me. I can't say how, like standing here right now, how it's going to turn out. I hope it turned out great. I can't tell. I've never really experimented with the trio thing, and in this studio at Grove, it's a whole different thing. Like, I'm not in complete control as much as I want to be with the sound.
Yeah.
The video is going to look great, I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But where can people find more information about the Rebel Eves? Is it the Rebel Eves?
.com.
.com.
So if you don't put the in, we might go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where we'd go.
Yeah.
So singles next summer, some touring. There's things to look forward to. If you missed them on their Michigan swing because this came out too late for you to find out about them, even though you might have seen them on the playlist because I put them on the Acoustic Alternatives playlist, this is your chance to start paying attention. Sign up for an email list. Is there an email list?
There is on our website.
That's a way they can keep up with you and they can make sure that they know when these singles come out, because I have been excited about this project since you told me about it 2 years ago. So thank you again for for being here. And it was a pleasure to meet both of the new people, Grace and Jillian, who've not ever been to the studio before. And perhaps we'll have to have a separate visit where we talk about you guys, just you guys. Don't invite the others. Grove Studios
is our first interview.
I think it is.
As a band.
As a band. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thanks
You're
for
very
being
welcome.
our
I was
first.
going to ask that actually, if that was.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. If you're new to the podcast, because of these young ladies, there are 60 some other ones to listen to. Probably the biggest star I've had on the podcast was Jeff Daniels and his son Ben. Invited me to their home and got to do a nice session with them. I've had the pleasure of visiting with Glenn Phillips of Toe the Wet Sprocket and Brian Vander Ark and some of my favorite singer-songwriters of the scene like Jonathan Brooke and Willie Porter, people like that. So it's been going on for a long time. If you're just discovering it, thanks. Support me on Patreon if you think you want to. I've got some special things for people who do there. I can't tell you what they are because they're too special. But Grove Studios, thanks to them. If this is a place that you're just discovering as well, you're seeing the big room. This is the big room. There's a drum kit. There's a piano. There's space for lots of people in here. Obviously, we recorded a big video in here with a trio. So check them out. Grove Studios in Ypsilanti is the reason I'm still doing this. So thanks to them. Appreciate everyone who's paying attention. And I don't know what's next. I don't have another one booked at the moment. So just keep an eye on the podcast page. And thanks for being here. Thanks, all three of you, for being here as well.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.